Hola, hola, mwah, hola. My name is Ira Manyes Basic. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My channel is all about story time and other things, but my favorite thing to do in this channel is to tell stories. I am a village princess and I'm everybody's princess. I am even your princess, and anyone who is looking for a princess, just tell them there is a villager who is ready to be anybody's princess. I'm going to be telling you, I'm going to be sharing another story with you. But before I get to the story, let me put out a disclaimer. If I give a name to the character, it means that it's not something that happened to me. If the story happened to me, I'll be telling the story like this happened that day and that day. But if I give a name to the character, it means that it's a story that I got from somebody from somewhere, and I'm just sharing with you as that person, as those people that the story happened to. I hope that I made myself understood, because some people are like, oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you. And I'm looking at those people funny. And then I realize, oh, those are the people that they watch my highlights and my other social media, and they don't watch the full story. Please, please, please share my stories, put my stories out there, make people know, because I talk about topics that most of the time topics that people are uncomfortable to talk about. Things like domestic violence, child abuse, rape, uh, so many other topics like the one that I'm going to be talking about, that just to bring awareness, just to bring some, to start conversations, just to make it okay to talk about things that make people uncomfortable, because sometimes bad things keep happening because we're uncomfortable to talk about, and the perpetrators or the abusers or the people that with different personalities and characters, they just keep doing these bad things and these funny things to other people because no one talks about it in the open. Let's just make it okay to talk in the open. My name is Tatiana. I am from South America. At the moment, I'm in South Africa. To be precise, I'm in Cape Town. I came here to look for better job opportunity because I have a friend who lives here, and she told me, if you come to Cape Town, I will help you to get a job. And that's what I did. I saved some money and I came here. But before I get to my story, me being here, let me just give you a little bit of background. uh, what I just said now, Shangan, is just I'm going to tell you guys about my background, where my parents are from, and how I grew up. I grew up in a beautiful household. My both parents, they work for the government back home. I already had a good home and food on the table and a good education. I was fortunate enough to go to one of the good colleges. I started fashion designing, and I immediately got a job because I'm very creative. I'm not saying that people said it. I'm very creative, and I got a job as a fashion designer. I mean, as a stylist actually. I did some designs, but and then I worked as a stylist through an agency. And when I started working, I started booking so many jobs, and I had to move from home to the big city. Getting to the big city, I rented a room. I was sharing a room in a flat with some of the people that they were from the same industry. Between models and stylists and fashion design, it was like all crazy, just to be close to where the action was. That's happening. I made new friends, and I started living a completely different life from where I came from. I started enjoying that lifestyle, and every money that I was making, it was just to pay the bills with the new lifestyle, with the new friends, to keep up with my new friends. I had to, I mean, I got introduced, first of all, I got introduced to the new life, which was the party life: drugs, alcohol, promiscuity. Ooh, did I say that right? Promiscuidade. Ano etlela ni vavanuna vanyingi vambengana ani nga vativi. I was sleeping around with so many different guys that some I didn't even know their names. For me, I thought that was what it was to be cool and be part of the fashion world. So that being said, at some point things started really getting out of control, and I started doing things out of character just to keep up with my new lifestyle. Unfortunately, I started living a double life, whereby I would behind closed doors doing certain things like sleeping with men to make money to pay the bills like rent, clothes, shoes, bags, makeup, and all of that, just to be part of the new vibes. Unfortunately, because that was not really who I was, I immediately got so addicted to that new life, and that was what really changed my life. I lost lots of weight, by then no one was hiring me anymore for the stylist jobs because my appearance, I was like just, I was not presentable to be hired as a stylist, and I was not reliable because sometimes I would sleep late and sometimes I would go home in the morning. My life was a mess, a big mess. I at some point I was really depressed, broke, even became homeless. When I hit rock bottom, guess what? I packed my bags, put the shame aside somewhere, and went home. My family was so disappointed. I was so embarrassed and ashamed because of my younger brothers and sisters. But there was no, it was that or go even worse. All of this happened in less than 2 years. In 2 years, my whole look transformed, my whole demeanor, myself, unfortunately, I was a new person just in less than 2 years. And in the beginning, when I moved to town, I would go home because I was so excited. I would go there, tell them the stories about the high life of the fashion world and everything. But when things started changing, I made sure that they don't know where I live because I was moving places all the time. I would always share a flat, always rent a room somewhere. And I'll make sure that my family or even my siblings, they don't know where I live. And when they would call, I'll just make it seem like I'm so busy. Of course, I'll be telling them stories and tell them how busy, how much I'm making so much money. They mustn't worry about me. Unfortunately, it was all lies because the money that I was making money from these other things that I was doing. Fast forward, my parents took me to rehab. I stayed in the rehab center for 6 months. I learned new things in the rehab, and I came out motivated with new ideas, with plans of how to have a better life out here. Luckily, I booked few jobs immediately as a stylist, and I saved some money. This is the money that I used to relocate to South Africa. To be honest, one of the reasons that I came to Cape Town is because I had a friend, or I have a friend, that I met then in my country, and she was a top stylist, and she's here at the moment, and she told me that if I get here, she will help me to get a job immediately. And of course, for me, it was a chance to start from scratch, a new place where I don't know anyone, and I already have a job. Let me just try new and keep my life focused. But unfortunately, when I got here, I realized that my friend is living exactly the same lifestyle that I wanted to leave behind. The same things that took me to rehab is exactly what she's living. And I'm staying with this person. I don't know anyone else. I don't speak the language that well. I just speak a little bit of English. In no time, in few months, I found myself doing exactly the same things that I swore to myself that I would never do it again. I was partying, drinking, using drugs, and guess what? I never realized in the past that I was addicted to drugs, alcohol, and sex because I was promiscuous. Essa palavra, promiscuous. Yeah, that's the word. I hope you get it. I found myself doing exactly these things that I did not want to do again, but circumstances, I was a victim of circumstances. That's how I got myself into this. And that's, please don't watch my story and judge me. I decided to share my story to bring awareness of what can happen if you find yourself. You can be a victim of situations and circumstances. And please let young people know to stay away from drugs. Alcohol and drugs can make you do things that in the future will not be proud of. You'll find yourself trying to fit in with friends or with people that they don't really care about you. They just care about themselves and they're just enjoying life, and they don't even know what they're doing, some of them. Just to bring awareness, that's the main reason I'm sharing my story. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope I inspired somebody out there. Okay, and now this is back to the Village Princess. Thank you so much for listening to my story. My name is Ira Manis Visik. I'm the Village Princess. And guess what? Cheers. I need to give you some love, some love, some love. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Don't forget to share my stories. Big kiss. Mwah. Lots of love from me, the village princess, and I'll see you on my next story. Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.